All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, November 29th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, on Tuesdays, Mr. Big Marcel. What's going on, Marcel? And Monday and Tuesday, I should say. It's Monday afternoon, obviously. Marcel, how's it going, man?
All good, man. All good. How about you?
Doing good, man. Busy as hell. I'm going to start a new job really soon, so there's like a lot of changes coming right now with me. It doesn't really affect the podcast. Luckily, we're going to still be able to do it. The time's going to have to be a little different. Me and Marcel will figure that out at some point, but this doesn't really affect the podcast for the next 2 weeks anyways. After that, it's probably going to be moved back like a little bit. I'm not sure, Marcel, if you're able to do what I asked you, but I mean, for me, that would work. So I guess we'll talk about that in private or something.
We'd have to do a different time next week on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, next week's fine. We'll talk about that though. After the podcast, we'll talk in private. Let's get this comment. Hey, Tristan. The fight they gave Alvarez, great matchup. I think will be great, very competitive. Hey, man, how's it going? I agree. And so basically today is Q&A, so we'll just do questions and answers, fight announcements. I didn't watch the event, Marcel, but I do kind of want to talk about the Triller card because there were some like UFC guys on it, but I didn't watch it. I tried to find a stream and couldn't. Obviously, I didn't look in the right spot, but I couldn't find a stream. So I'm like, I'm not paying for this thing, obviously. There's no way, Marcel. Anyways. I think we should start. Might as well just start with the Triller thing, and we'll work when more people come in. We'll do the fight on your Instagram, Marcel.
For sure, man. For sure.
Let's just talk about the card a little bit. Again, I didn't see it, but I saw the highlights. Obviously, Frank Mir got knocked out again. Why is he fighting still, Marcel? Like, it's just obviously for money, right? Because like I don't see why this guy's even being booked like in sanctions for fight, Marcel. He's getting knocked out in every fight, basically.
I think he also likes to fight. I think it's in his DNA. You know what I mean? So, I think that's it. If it's smart, I don't know, probably not. But these fighters, it's very hard for them to quit. Or not to quit, to start with their career and say I'm retired. And they come back anyways again. So, yeah, what can you say, right? I mean, yeah.
He's 42 years old. He didn't get knocked out in another boxing match earlier this year, but he did lose. He's kind of a legend, I guess. Like, I don't know. Would you call Frank? Yeah, he's kind of a legend, right?
He should be in the Hall of Fame in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too, because he is one of the better like heavyweights of all time. Like, especially in the 2000s when the sport was evolving.
Stopped Nogueira.
Yeah, I was at that fight. I saw that fight with my dad, man. It was 10 years ago. UFC 140. He broke his arm with a Kimura. It was insane. Or his shoulder, I should say, right? Or his arm. I can't remember what it was, but man, that card was insane. Yeah. So
it was like the Kimura was, right?
Yeah. I think it was a Kimura. I'm pretty sure. And he said his shoulder's gone. So guy is, good. But
it's actually crazy when knocked him with a tap, and when he broke, he tapped. So
I know.
After the break, so.
That card was crazy, man. Like that was an amazing card, dude. I saw some crazy cards in my day, man. Some really awesome ones. Hey, Rockwell, we'll talk about this card tomorrow with Riddell and Aldo. That's tomorrow. I still have some fights to break down. Yeah, same time tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. JFM's in the chat. What's going on, man? John Beezer. I saw your tweets, John. He was watching the card. He really liked it. That's awesome, John. I'm glad to see it. He said Albert Tunov looked phenomenal. Dude, okay, I'm going to tell you something crazy about Albert. So I love the guy. I think he's great. I remember betting on a very big bet on him when he fought Ildemar Alcantara and lost. I couldn't believe it. That was one of the most like surprising upsets at the time. Remember, Marcel, like that scrub Ildemar? I was like, how did he lose this fight? Like,
you're his brother, right?
Yeah, his brother. What's his brother's name?
Yuri
Alcantara. Yeah, the little small one. So he had the big one and the small one. The bigger guy beat him. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. I remember that wasn't fun. But I also remember writing an article with the guy like 5 or 6 years ago and saying like this guy's going to be good one day, and now he's finally starting to put it together. You're talking about Teofimo Lopez. I didn't see the fight. I know he lost. But I know his dad was saying something. Tristan, if you wanted to tell me what was said, again, I didn't get a chance to watch that fight. I'll be honest, guys. Like this was one of the I did watch the highlights, like I said, but overall, Marcel, this is one of the few weekends we have off like all year, basically. So I was like, you know what? I just want to spend some time with my like family today and not watch the fight. It's as hard as it is not to log on, but I want to take a break. Like I said, couldn't find a stream. John said Campos and Vera. Heard that was a great fight in Perry Seals. I was really impressed. Seals never took over. Yeah, Perry never let Seals take over. Yeah, you know what, man? That was a big upset. He was plus 600, guys. His opponent was minus 1,000. So that's a big upset, Marcel. That's a big one. And very impressive. I know Campos won. I heard the fight was really good. The other one was a couple of MMA guys, but Matt Mitra lost. He lost his fight. He's lost a lot now. He's 6 straight losses, I think, 5 straight. Got to ask that journalist. What was that guy that said he had like 5 straight losses? He's got 4 straight in MMA plus. Or sorry, I'm wrong because of freaking Tapology because they include the submission fight. That's why 3 straight losses, no contest, another loss, and then this loss. So I'll say a 6-fight winless streak. I'm just gonna say it like that, Marcel. I did see this. Yeah, that was bizarre, man. He just didn't want to stop the fight. That was crazy. It's basically like Pulev basically stopped it. So I don't know if I'm sure you saw the highlight, Marcel. Like that was Tan Dan's got to, again, him and Herb, why do they hesitate so much? Like I don't get it. It's like the Holland fight like last month. He fucked it up. Remember, Marcel? Because he hesitated. The head clash, and he's just like, okay, you guys are fine. Why didn't you not? Anyways, we spent the whole podcast talking about that. How much did Mitchell and Perry got? I don't know, but I know that I think Mir said he made 7 figures for this fight. Like, I don't know if it's true. You can say a lot about Triller, but I do think they do pay their fighters well. I'll say that, Marcel. You can say a lot about them, but it seems like they're paying their fighters really well, which is good to see. But I also question how much of a business plan they have going on. It seems like they're just spending a lot of money right now. Obviously, they brought in Metallica. That's going to cost a lot of money. You know what I mean, Marcel? So I just question what the path is going forward because this guy Ryan Kavanaugh keeps saying, Dana White's got to be worried about me and we're going to take over combat sports with Triad Combat and all this stuff. I don't know. I don't really see it. I do think there's a market for it there. I do think there is a market because it seems pretty exciting, to be honest with you. But it's not. I just love MMA, man. I just prefer MMA, Marcel. I don't need these custom rule fights. I just like MMA. Thoughts?
Same. Yeah, same. It's if I was really into it, I would have watched it. You know what I mean? So. It's not that I don't want to watch it or absolutely against it, but it's just not if you're watching the UFC, I really how do you say that? I'm really when I spend my day and I'm working on Saturdays, and I'm off working, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna watch the UFC tonight. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got that feeling, but with Triller, it's
what do you think of Triller? What do you think of it?
I don't know, man. What do I have to think about it? It's kind of hard to put it anywhere. I don't dislike it, but I'm also not a huge fan. I'm just in the middle of it. You know what I mean? So I don't really. I don't stay home for it, but it's at night, so I'm still home. But
I totally understand what you're saying. Oh yeah, no doubt, Tristan. MMA is the best combat sport. I think most of us agree with that here. I'm sure there's some people that prefer boxing or Muay Thai or whatever, but for me, it's MMA. It's always been. The thing I like about MMA is there's just so many ways to win and lose. That's why I like it, Marcel. It's just there's so many variables, right? There's so many different just things to keep in mind, when thinking about the fights.
The thing is, it's stupid, man, but that's why I love MMA, and I'm more of an MMA kind of person. If I'm watching boxing and kickboxing, and sometimes you're like, there's a perfect moment to do a takedown. It's just stupid. You know what I mean? So. I'm more into MMA than into kickboxing, boxing, or whatever. But to each their own, I guess.
Fair enough. Just looking at the card. There were some other MMA fighters like Stephen Graham. I was actually looking at the card, and I'm like, I've heard of this guy's name before. He fought James Gallagher in Bellator, I think, in a main event 2 years ago or something. So overall, it looks like it was a decent event. And John's got some comments here. He's got saying Ryan Kavanaugh's got a big mouth. He had to spend money hiring Nigel Lithgow to finally run a proper production. Uses Dane for a cheap pop, but money doesn't grow on trees. I agree with that last part that you said. Dane's got UFC's lower upper class system basic running itself. Yep. Lean towards Superior of Love. That's 269. We'll talk about that then, JFM. So do you use the Caceres? I would watch that fight. It'd be a good one. Philip Lins, I'm surprised they haven't cut him because he's pulled out 5 or 6 fights this year. I know
he has big paycheck to do it.
I don't understand why they even have him on the roster. The guy has been absolutely terrible in the UFC. He doesn't look like the guy who was in PFL. The guy in the PFL is probably in the juice, guys. Let's be honest. It looks like a different fighter, physically and the way he's performing. So the guy's been absolutely terrible in the UFC. And I'm going to check how many fights he's pulled out because I'm actually getting pissed off because I was looking into that fight. No, I was looking into Murtakanov versus Thing. And then yesterday I saw your tweet saying David Dare is in it. And now it's a weight class above. I'm like, why does this keep happening? I'm just looking at this guy. He's pulled out of let's take a look here, Marcel. I think it's been 5 fights this year?
Something like that.
Moises, it's been more. It's 5 this year and then 1 last year. So 6 straight fights he's pulled out of. I mean, why would you have this guy in the roster? Like, I just don't know. He's not reliable, Marcel. It's like calling into work sick every day. Like, okay, you got to come to work. Okay, no problem. You just call in sick. Like, what the hell's going on here, man? Anyways, got some more comments here, and then we'll go to some like, fights and stuff. Sorry, Kevin, I missed your comment. I'll be in Vegas 269. That's awesome, man. Looking forward to Emmett versus Ige. Such a long layoff for Emmett after knee surgery complications. Ige have a path to win this. That's a great question. I mean, I have to look at it more, Kevin, but right now I'm telling you, like, it seems like a bad match for Dan Ige. That's what it seems like, because Josh Emmett's a wrestler too, and he's got way better striking and power, obviously. So, what? The layoff.
Well, yeah.
I know, that's the thing.
Layoff,
and knee surgery. But, like, from a skills perspective, he should win. Mm-hmm. But, again, that's not the only thing that matters. And I was thinking about that today, Marcel. Like, it's not – as crazy as it sounds, the best fighter doesn't always win. It's whoever performed the best on that day. Marcel? It doesn't mean that they were the better fighter, which is the really crazy part about the sport. Like, we don't get to see them fight again, right? Usually.
Yeah, always reminds me when somebody says that about that conversation with Mousasi and Bisping, when Bisping tells him, like, yeah, but you lose against Uriah Hall the first time. And then Mousasi said, yeah, that was a fluke. Not always the best fighter wins. That happened with you and Luke Rockhold.
That's funny. No, it's true, though. It's really true. And I've been thinking on this a lot lately. Like, these fights are tough to pick anyways, but the fact that the guy on tape doesn't always show up in the cage makes it even tougher sometimes. Anyways, Bozer's still around. I know he wants a fight booked, I think, or does he have a fight booked?
He had a fight booked against Pavlovich, but the fight got cancelled. And that was supposed to happen on Saturday. Yeah.
Visa issues or?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I would think so. I don't know.
Fair enough. All right. You want to go to your let's go to your page. Oh, it takes a lot for you're right, Glenn. Hey, Glenn. He's right. Ali Abdelaziz is his manager, but I'm telling you guys, 6 straight, 5 in 2021. If I'm a matchmaker, I wouldn't want the guy on my roster. Like, I wouldn't want to call him up for a fight because he's not reliable, Marcel. That's just my opinion. Anyways, maybe I'm being harsh, but whatever. Let's go to Marcel's page, guys. Let's check out some fight announcements. Right, here we go. Actually, let me get this comment first. Do you guys know when Mousasi was to return? I think he's fighting Vanderford, right? Isn't it at the end of this year, or is it
early 2022 against Vanderford?
There you go. All right, let's go to Marcel's page. So this is a new fight today. Kyle Baralo takes on Dustin Stoltzfus because Hernandez pulled out, I believe, with an injury. This fight's coming up in a couple of weeks. Man. Like, again, we're not going to give picks right now. We got to take some time to think about some work. I'm just seeing this fight for the first time, honestly, but. I would lean towards Baralo, obviously.
It's such a stocky fight for Stoltzfus, I think.
I just think it's a brutal. I also thought the Hernandez fight was tough. Like, he lost to what's his name, Vieira, and then he gets Hernandez, who beat Vieira. It actually didn't make any sense, Marcel.
I didn't.
The matchmaking was so weird there. I think Baralo probably wins. The more I think about this one, but again, I got to think about a little bit more. But the guy looked fucking good on the second fight in the Contender Series. Looked really good.
I think the first fight was good as well against Aaron Jeffrey.
Yeah, that's a big win, man. That's a bigger win than this guy's ever had. So, but again, it's all matchups, right? And this guy is a decent, defensive grappler, I guess. He's hard to take down. It's good to play on the feet, but Baralo's got a good strike game. I don't want to break it down.
I was laughing. Somebody commented over there with this guy has 3 different languages written on his body.
It's so true. That's so funny. That's hilarious. For no reason. That's a good comment. I like it. All right. And I got a comment from JFM. Did you see Cyril Gom's former Muay Thai opponent Eugene now trains with Lopez for MMA debut? Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that, man.
There you go.
No, who's
his name was Eugene.
Doesn't ring a bell, man. Who's
Eugene Muay Thai? I'm finding it right now. I can't. Who is this guy, man? I can't. I just googled it, but I don't see anything.
Maybe it's on Topology. Let me check.
Sure.
Cyril Gane.
I can't find the guy in Eugene, though. I just can't find that name.
Kickboxing and Muay Thai records are awful to find all the time because they are not really good documented.
I know. It's true. All right. Let's go to the next fight. Yeah, here's what we were talking about earlier. Let's talk about it. So this is a great fight, man. You got number 13 versus number 15. By the way, his name is Yazine Bougahem.
Okay, he's a boxer, I see. Belgian-Moroccan guy. I don't know him, man. I'm sorry.
Check him out. I feel like I've heard of this guy. Eugene Bougahem, 27 years old from Belgium. I'm surprised you haven't heard of him, Marcel, now that I think about it. He has a win over James McSweeney 3 years ago, former UFC fighter. And And he also beat Alexander Lungu, former Pride fighter.
I see.
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
Yeah, I don't know about him either. So, anyways, let's go to this fight. So you got 13 versus 15, Marcel. Great fight. I'm a little surprised that they're giving Alvarez another chance. He better make weight. That's all I want to say. Like, if he doesn't, obviously he's going to 170. I just hope he goes to the PI, really takes his weight seriously, comes in at 156 or 155. You know, I don't want to see him miss weight again because I think this guy. We talked about Marcel. We both like him. You know, we both really like him. But
sure. Yeah,
I also feel like this is a fucking tough matchup for him, man. Like, just my initial thoughts. Like, Armin is really good, guys, and you know, unless he gets like finished, which it could happen because Alvarez is 19 wins, 19 by finish. I just kind of see him grinding him out a little bit. But, man, it's really hard to pick against this guy, you know, because he's so dangerous. What do you think, Marcel?
This is a great matchup, man. It's 4-1 in the UFC against 4-1 in the UFC. Yeah, what else can we say, man? This is a great matchup. This is a fight. I think the winner of this one gets a top 10 opponent, should get a top 10 opponent. I even want to say that I think Tsarukyan should have got a higher ranked opponent. But, I mean, I still love this fight.
This comment's hilarious. Look at this. Silly move by Armin. He deserves fight someone higher ranked, not this lower ranked, raw cold sized lightweight. This last fight. He actually is fucking huge for the division. Like, he's got to be one of the bigger lightweights, right?
Yeah.
Would you say? Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope he makes weight, man.
We both like it, man. We're both a fan of them, but I have a hard time treating the guys when they miss weight. You know, it's just even if they win, it's like, okay, you have an asterisk beside it. That's just the truth, you know, Marcel.
Mm-hmm.
If Alvarez can go through Tarsuki like he did Moises, dude, if he wins this fight and especially if he finishes him, I mean, I'd assume that he gets like a top guy like in his next fight and maybe like fast track towards the belt because if he goes there and finishes Tarsuki, that'd be really impressive. Yeah, that is crazy. Those Muay Thai guys fight a lot, eh? I don't really know who wins. It's not an easy fight to call, but I mean, I think Armin's going to be favored a little bit. I'll say that because he's always a big favorite, and Joel was just a big underdog. So I think based on historical betting lines, you're going to see Armin as the favorite here, guys. But you know, it's not an easy fight to call. Obviously, not at all. If the odds were on Joel making weight were minus 155, would you take it? Man, that's a great question, Jay. I love that question actually, just because. I do think it's possible he could make it this time. You know, I just would hate paying juice on a guy who just missed it twice. But if it was plus money, JFM, I'd probably take that. I'll tell you that right now. Armin taking this fight leads to, let's support his comments. People are turning on fights. I mean, no one wants to fight the guy, obviously. So let's go to the next fight.
High risk, low reward fight for many people. Yeah.
We're going to talk about this fight tomorrow. This is a short notice fight. Azamat's moving up to heavyweight, taking on Vendera. It's an interesting fight, man, just because that weight difference. Like, Vendera's a legitimate heavyweight. He's 265. Azamat, I'm guessing, cuts from, like, what, 225, 220 to make 205? I don't know. Go ahead.
I think Azamat has won the tournament title in Brave back then, you know.
He's also fought at 185, Marcel. He fought, you know.
I know. He normally fought at 185. Then he went to sometimes to 205, and then for the Brave, he went to the open weight tournament of 265, and he won it.
I don't know about this, man. I mean, listen, I'm not saying Vendera's great, but he's a huge guy. And it's just the size alone will make this a hard fight, I think. He's not terrible, Marcel. In a stand-up fight, he's going to have a chance, you know? But we'll talk about that fight. Are the odds up? Let me check. They might have been up. Take a look here. Odds for that. Yeah, they're up. And the one, it's not that crazy. I'm looking at it right now. It opened at minus 350 plus 285. Right now, it's minus 230 plus 190. So money's coming on Jared Vendera. And I honestly, it just came in on him a couple hours ago. Marcel, some money came in on him. I can kind of see it, man. I'll be honest with you. I can kind of see it. I think that line was probably a little bit too high in Azamat. But again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's go with this fight. Armin versus... Yeah, I know. I don't know what happened in that fight. I'm not sure. I don't think Poirier retires. Very, very good chance, man. Very good chance. I don't think we got a chance to talk about this fight yet, Marcel. So let's talk about this one. 5-round fight, guys. Makhachev versus Benilderius. This is a number one contender fight, obviously. The winner's going to get a title shot. The odds are out for this one, too. Let me get the odds for you guys. Opened at minus 400 plus 330. Right now, minus 330 plus 265. So it's staying even. That's a different book, actually. So basically staying even. It's just kind of crazy to me, like, that that Dariush is a bigger underdog than Drew Dober was. Like, that really surprised. I don't understand that at all. I got to be honest with you, Marcel. What do you think about that? I don't agree with that at all. Do you?
I understand people having how do you say that? Having Islam as a huge favorite. I see that, but I still think it's kind of disrespectful to Dariush.
Oh, I think so too. This is crazy.
Yeah, so I would say it's a little bit more close, man, you know?
I think so too, man. Honestly, like, listen, Islam should be favored, obviously. Like, everyone knows that. he's going to be favored against pretty much anyone in the division except for like maybe like Oliveira, Poirier, or whatever. But it just seems like a little bit high, minus 400. I got to be honest with you. Like maybe people are just going to parlay it anyways, and maybe we're wrong. Maybe it goes to minus 500. I just feel like it's a closer fight than that a little bit. You know? Any thoughts?
I agree with you, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Any thoughts on this guy, Bilal Makhachev? I don't know who he is again.
I think didn't the UFC sign that dude years ago when he never debuted or something?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of guys like that, eh, Marcel? Yeah. Yeah, it's a great fight, though. I just think the odds are a little bit high. You know, there's a lot of hype on Islam, but
Adam.
Yeah.
I wonder what actually happened with Colin Huckbody. Do you remember he got?
Yeah, he's fighting. He's fighting when
Bellator now.
Yeah, he's fighting. What's his name? Who's the guy's name he's fighting?
Johnny Eblin.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup for him. Johnny Eblin's minus 1,000 right now. He's going to knock him out probably.
Yeah, but
I don't understand what happened. I know we talked about this. He went back to see. He got signed. He went to CFFC. Now he's in Bellator, and now he's getting a fight he's going to lose. Whereas he could have went to the UFC, at least got like a fight he could have won. This is again, I'm not a huge fan of Bell. I just hate the matchmaking, man. I gotta be honest. I hate minus 1,000 favorites all the time, every week, guys. It's not like it's UFC happens once in a while, but almost mostly title fights in the women's divisions, or it's a short notice fight. It doesn't like they don't book fights usually where it's minus 1,000 versus plus 600 right off the bat. Very rarely. Maria Agapova, oh nice. I hope that's the fight too, because she was saying she was like a crackhead or something, and saying she was on drugs and all this shit, and she wants to beat her up. Be a great fight. Yeah, it's 5 rounds. I mean, I feel like it probably goes to 5. You know, Dariush isn't having toughest competition. Let's go through it, but I think Beneil's fought like some of the best guys in the division, right?
He fought Tony.
Beneil's fought everyone, man. Tony, he fought Diego Ferreira, Moises, Dober. I'm looking at the ranked guys: Hernandez, Barboza, Chiesa, Johnson, Jim Miller. I mean, yeah, I don't think you can criticize his schedule too much. Islam's obviously it's a little bit padded, Marcel. Let's be completely honest. Like it is, you know. His best win is Dan Hooker in a fight that was booked on a couple weeks' notice. Dan didn't even try. I'm not saying I don't want to take anything away from Islam because he's been dominant, man. Just there's still something about him, Marcel, that I'm not completely sold on him being like the best guy in the world. That's all. Which only one person could be, and that's Charles Oliveira. But right now, if you asked a lot of people on Twitter who they would think would win the fight, Charles and Islam, I feel like most people would pick Islam when I wouldn't. You know, Marcel, like just because I'm just not there yet on him. I think he's good. Don't get me wrong, but is he elite like a Charles Oliveira that could do everything? I don't know. I've never seen really Islam strike really. Like there was the one fight with Tarsukian where he showed some striking. That's about it, Marcel. Like he doesn't have to strike. He takes you down. What happens when you fight Charles Oliveira and he can't take him down? Or when he takes him down, he gets his back taken. What happens then? So I'm just saying there's a lot of question marks for me. So I kind of know what you're saying, JFM, and I know what you're saying, but yeah, I think Dariush has fought harder competition. You agree with that, Marcel?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. But he also fought Moises, right? So
yeah, I know, and that's their common guy, right? So
and that was back when Dariush really needed a win at that moment. So he made it a really safe fight. He made that like pretty much a lay in prayer back then.
Yeah, and then he turned into like really exciting guy, knocking everyone spinning backflips and shit. All right. Barboza and Mitchell, another fight I want to talk about here. This the main event or no?
No, that's probably its next pay-per-view on March.
Oh, I see. Okay, March 5th. Okay, so it's not a main event. I would have liked to have seen 5 rounds, but either way, man, it's a great fight. Barboza is obviously the strike. It's a striker versus grappler fight, guys. It really is. Who do you think can get the fight to their realm? Any thoughts, Marcel, on this one?
Yeah, man, it's difficult. I think Barboza, we all know his striking is amazing, and we all know Bryce Mitchell can roll on the ground, So it's a fun matchup, I don't know. I mean, Barboza looks solid. I know not against Giga, but he looks solid in all of his last other fights. And Bryce Mitchell, I haven't seen him for a long time, so I wonder how he looks at this moment.
Me too. I'm looking forward to it. Sorry, let me get this question. Let me phrase, Dariush has beat the best competition, except for out of prime Donny decision over Freya, who got finished by Gillespie's next fight. It's not like the best. I agree with you. It's not the best win streak. I agree with you. But again, if you look back at his, you can't really just forget about what he did in his first 2 years in the UFC. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like he beat like some good guys, So, but I know what you're saying. I kind of agree with what you're saying too. It's not the greatest win streak. I don't think Islam's is either. But whatever. I mean, one of the winner of that fight's fighting for the belt, anyways. It doesn't matter who they beat. That it's definitely a number one contender fight. Did you guys hear about Hooker replacing Katter against Giga? What? I didn't hear that. Did you hear that? No, I haven't heard that, Tristan. I thought that fight was still on with Katter and Giga. Islam, the same thing. I don't believe the fighters ducked him. UFC wasn't interested in top guys because Gibby was champ. Look at Kamzat's Thierry already got ranked. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about that. Anyways, let's go to the next fight here. Brian, did we talk about this one already? I think we might have. Yeah. So we'll talk about this fight tomorrow, but I mean, it's a good fight. Obviously, you got Brandon Allen, who's looked really good in the UFC for the most part, and Chris Curtis, who's John Strickland's training partner. I know we talked about this fight last week. We talked about these ones, so we'll skip them. We'll take questions, guys. Any questions, throw them out there. We'll take them. We're here for a little bit longer, anyways. We get this question from Tristan. Who would you guys match up with Hooker for his 145 return? So here's the crazy thing with Dan Hooker. Like, I got to be honest. When I saw the tweet, I was like, holy crap. How can you make 145? And then I was like, wait, he used to fight at 145. Yeah, like for a couple years, right? Like, obviously, he's kind of grown out of the weight class, I think. The guy is 6 foot tall. I don't know how he's going to do it, but apparently he already made the weight. Apparently he did a test cut. If he can make 145, he should go back to the weight class. There's no doubt about it. Who should he fight? I would think he gets the rank guy because he is ranked in the top 10. So looking at the rankings, I mean, fuck, man. I don't know if they would just introduce them someone like a Yusuf or Caceres the bottom rank, but man, if they matched them up with like Chan Sung Jung, I wouldn't hate that fight at all. You know what I mean, Marcel? So fair to say March 5th at 272. Think so, right? Yeah.
The thing is, I think March 5th is still open for. Let's see. You have March 12th. That's Thiago Santos Magomed Ankalaev, the main event. March 19th is supposed to be the London card. So, and I don't think it's March 26th. So it's either March 5th or March 26th. So I think it's March 5th.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah, like I said, we'll take any questions, guys. Hey, Daniel, what's up, man? It's a bit of both, Islam. He's not been super active, so couldn't string the wins and fan base together. Now Khabib's retired. UFC's excited to invest to push him. That is true too. I agree with that second part because like he's like the new like Russian guy, right? In this division, they're all really good. Yeah, Khabib, now you have his boy Islam. Is Glover Yuri the next heavyweight title fight you guys would like to see? Yeah, I would. But is it going to happen with Rakic and Yuri? Is that what you're hearing instead, Marcel? Like, what are you hearing?
Last thing I heard was Rakic fighting probably Blachowicz. So
really, you heard that, eh? Nice.
Yeah, but
wait. Remember, didn't the UFC offer that fight, or was that Anthony Smith? Who did they offer again?
They wanted Anthony Smith at first against Rakic in December, but that was not going to happen. So,
yes. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to get Jan maybe versus Rakic. Interesting. I still think Rakic is getting really underlooked, I guess. Overlooked, I should say, because he had 2 boring fights, but he still won those fights. The guy's still really good. You know what I mean? Like, they were boring, but he won. Marcel, you know what I mean? So I feel like he's really good, man. Like, and again, he dominated Anthony Smith. Like, that fight wasn't even close. What'd you guys make of the desk giving their opinions during each fight on the last card? Didn't like it, man. I'll be honest with you, Quinn. I don't like it because it's MMA, man, and one punch can finish a fight. So you sit there, Bilal Muhammad or whoever's giving their advice or their analysis, they're not even sitting cage side. They're watching on TV like we are. I just don't really see the point of it. Like, you're not getting an extra view of the fight. Like, when the guys are sitting by the cage, we can't see what's going on if we're sitting at home, Marcel. But Bilal's sitting in the studio watching on TV. So, like, what is he seeing that we're not? I mean, for casual fans, sure, but I just feel like if you know the sport, it's not like they were really providing any like create. I shouldn't say on Bilal, by the way. Sorry. Who else was there? Kiesa, I think. I can't remember who it was. Anthony Smith. I can't remember, but I don't have a problem with them. I just think that during the fight itself, I didn't like. I don't mind it during the when there's a fight and then it ends quickly and then they go to the studio. That's fine. But during the fight itself, I just like to watch the fight personally.
You know what annoys me when in the booth, they are like, I know this is not we're not talking about the booth, but when they're in the booth, it's like, this is a 10-9 for this fight. This is 10-9 for that. I was like, can you guys just commentate and not score a fight? I don't want to hear you score.
They should just have a Eddie Bravo guy doing it. I've said this forever. Yeah. I used to love that, Marcel, back when I first started watching UFC. I mean, I'll be like a lot of us, we didn't know the scoring rules that well back then, you know? You had Eddie Bravo saying this guy should have won the round. I used to trust him, you know? Just saying. This was like 15, I'm talking about 15 years ago, though. Like when I was first getting it. I was like a teenager then. Anyways, yeah, I think there's something to be said about having analysis. And like, they're fine on the desk. I don't have an issue with them like Conor McGregor does. It's just during the actual fight, I didn't like how they piped them in and were like, hey, we're going to go to this guy to talk about the fight. Like, I don't mind when they do Dean Thomas sometimes. I don't mind it. And I think Dean actually had some really good insight. But I don't know. I just didn't. I'm kind of with you, Glenn. I wasn't too impressed. But maybe it'll get better going forward. I don't know. Hooker Yair too. Yeah, that'd be a good fight too. I'd watch that one. How confident is Stipe's fighting the Daukaus Lewis winner? I'm not confident at all. Is that what they're saying? No? I assumed he was going to get a title shot. I assumed he would get a title shot against Gon and Gano because I don't think Jones is coming back. Yeah, we're talking about John Jones. No idea. I mean, listen, here's the thing with John Jones. I still think he's the best fighter of all time, and it's hard for him not to be competing as a fan because basically, like, you have any sport you have, imagine like the best player in that sport not performing. Like, it just wouldn't be as great of a sport. So I love watching John Jones fight, but he has a lot of demons to conquer right now, and I just don't have sympathy at all for a guy who beats his wife or his girlfriend or whatever. I don't know, Marcel. I feel like he's made his own kind of hole and he's digging himself into it. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, no one else has did these. John Jones is the one who drinks and drives. He's the one who slaps his wife. Like, so will he return? Maybe, but I don't know, because it's been almost 2 years. It'll be over 2 years, right? By the time he comes back. He was supposed to fight this year at heavyweight, never fought. And he's going to have a new team at that point. It's going to be just a different guy. And I don't know if he'll ever, like, maybe he'll be better than he was, but I don't know. Any thoughts on John Jones, man? Because, like, as a fan, I love watching him fight, but as a person, he's a really bad guy.
What do you want me to say, man? I've been a fan of John Jones since I saw him fight. So
yeah,
I think he's an amazing fighter, but the things outside the cage doesn't do him any favorites,
No, I mean, if you hit your wife, like, you probably don't deserve the privilege of being on the UFC roster, because it is a privilege to be in the sport and to be in the UFC. But again, it's not like John's the first guy or girl even to get involved in the domestic situation. So it just sucks. What's next for Martin Buday, the heavyweight guy? Yeah, what's the other guy? That other heavyweight, the Polish guy, or what's his name? The Czech guy. What was his name?
Lukas Brzezinski?
Yeah. Sorry, this is the Czech guy. The other guy's the Polish guy. I would do that fight. I already said that a few months ago. Yeah. Just because, honestly, I don't know if they really are going to be in the UFC that long. So maybe Buday will be. Buday looked pretty good.
I just want Bisping to commentate that fight. Bisping's
the best. Let me get these comments. Picture Marcel as a red phone that rings when the European fights. That's so fun. Oh, there it is. It is red. Holy crap. Yeah, but you need like the telephone where you like pick it off the receiver, like.
Yeah, I know
what the front man. Hello? Oh, the VIPs have arrived. That should be you, Marcel. That's so funny. All right. It's Burns, the next plan opponent for Climb. Yeah, that's the plan, but not signed.
I'd like to see the fight until February. So
yeah, I'd like to see the fight. Makes a lot of sense. What does UFC do with Nora Dumont?
She got ranked today.
What? There's featherweight rankings?
At bantamweight. At number 15, they took Jermaine Durandamy out of the rankings. So
what?
Yeah.
But she's on 135.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, that's really weird. All right, the rankings are shit. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Remember when they put Mayra Bueno Silva in the flyweight rankings when she was fighting at 115?
Oh man! Surprised UFC did not see B1 injured title fight. Yeah, he wasn't happy about that. He's pissed off. Hey Alex, what's up, man? Live featherweight Dope Talk Day. Make your case for Aldo, Holloway, or Volkanovski. This is a fucking great question. And what's good about this one is one of the events I covered when I worked for Sure was UFC 31. I want to say was it 231? Holloway versus, let me check what it was. Yeah, versus Ortega. And I got to ask Max a question at the post-fight presser, and I'm just like, this was 3 years ago, and I asked him, like, where do you rank yourself? It was December 8th, 2018, so like basically 3 years ago. And I asked him, like, how do you compare yourself to like Aldo or McGregor even? He just said, like, he thinks Aldo was the best, even though he had the 2 knockout wins over him, which surprised me. After that fight, Max went up to 155 to fight Dustin, lost, came back down, has obviously done really well. But at the same time, Marcel, I don't know, because I feel like he's been amazing, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like the Aldo he fought wasn't the same Aldo that, was in the early UFC days. And, he has lost twice to Volkanovski. The first one, I thought for sure lost. Second one, obviously controversial, but, it's just at 145, Aldo's do a lot. Huh?
What's your pick? Who's the greatest of all time at featherweight?
I mean, I'm having a hard time. I'm looking at the resumes. It's just tough because, honestly, Aldo's UFC resume is not, it's not the best because he only had 12 wins. He only has 12 wins, including 10 at featherweight, whereas Max is like 20 wins. But I feel like the quality is slightly higher for Aldo. What do you think, man?
For me, it's Aldo.
Yeah,
the greatest doesn't have to be the best. You know what I mean? So he has just the best legacy. And for me, those WEC fights, we kind of
got to include those two, right?
Count that, because that's still the highest level of fighters they fought in that weight division back then.
Yep.
So for me, it's still Aldo. And how Holloway is after that. Volkanovski is closing in. He can listen. If Volkanovski keeps doing what he's doing,
he'll be the best easily. He's already up there. He's so underrated, man. Honestly,
Connor is not even in conversation, in my opinion. So
I just feel like he's so underrated. Volkan. I'm with you at Connor. No, he's not. Right now, he's not in the conversation. He could have been, but he chose to do different things.
He should have defined his titles.
He chose not to. He wanted to 155. He wanted to make money. He wanted to fight Floyd. Totally fine. He did what he wanted to do. I just feel like Volkanovski's really underrated, guys. I look at his resume: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 10-0 in the UFC. And he's got 2 wins over Max, a win over Aldo, and a win over Ortega. We're talking the best guy ever, and then this guy has wins over both of them. But again, he caught them at a good time in their career, I believe. I should say about Max against Aldo, I should say. I don't know, Marcel. It's a really hard question. I would lean a little bit towards Aldo, but I do think this is something that could change. I do think it could change. Course. Because Max is young, right? He's only 29, I want to say. No, he's 29, yeah. So turns 30 on Saturday. So
listen, dude. Yeah. Usman is also working hard to get that spot of GSP, and that's a very tough spot to go to. I think to take GSP from place 1.
It's not easy at all. I agree completely. Let me get these comments. John Jones needs fancy treatment for PSD. Bless them. Daniel's taking your calls. What do you think UFC or Bellator won't sign out? Why do you think? That's a good question, Alex. Like I said, man, I've been a fan of the guy forever. Like, I think he had some great fights at the UFC. I want to say he knocked out, with the Ali Japan he knocked out, I want to say. Gotta look back at his record. Let me pull it up again. Yeah, it was Japan. It was an amazing knockout. He beat Lorenz Larkin. He had some good wins, and they let him go. And I think he's looked good since then. And I think he looked really good from what I saw in the boxing match or whatever. So I would like to see him bring it back to the UFC, Marcel. He's only 29 years old, so.
Yeah, but we can't. It will be difficult with the post-fight, with the journalist thinking he's Robbie Lawler. That
was hilarious. I remember that. It was awesome. Case Kiefer's the guy's name. He works for Las Vegas Review. Yeah. Type him up, Case Kiefer. He actually follows me on Twitter. We all trolled him that night. He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." That was probably the funniest thing ever, eh? Like Robbie, and Dave's like, "You thought that's Robbie Lawler?" And he's like, "It's like one of the greatest things ever. It's like one of the best." I couldn't believe it was real. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like, Case is a good dude. It was so embarrassing for him, though. I mean, listen, we all screwed up like that, but screwed up with 2 different people, that's pretty funny, man. Actually, it was at 195 when he beat Lorenz Larkin. Robbie beat Condon, although I don't think he won that fight. Anyways, any one fight you're looking forward to most in December? Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier from you. You?
Yeah. Probably as well, it's the most important fight in December in the UFC. So yes,
yeah, no, I agree. All right, look at these comments. Alex talking about what goes through your thought process: wins, losses, title, defenses, legacy, all that stuff, man.
Are you listening, Alex? What's up with you?
All that stuff, Alex. For me, it's just like because I've been in the sport for a while now. Like I've seen a lot of people come and go, and I feel like I have a pretty. And I'm sure you feel the same way. I have a good sense of where people stack up in the history of the sport. That's kind of so for me, it's who you beat, how you beat them, that matters, and how long you did it for too, Marcel. That for me really matters, longevity. And that's why I don't consider Khabib the GOAT, because he only fought for not even 10 years in the UFC.
And that's why I still consider Fedor the GOAT at heavyweight.
Yeah, so. He's still fighting and winning. He just knocked out Tim Johnson. That's an underdog. So Santos, strong fighter. Tyler Santos is ranked now. She's number 5. Sorry, she was ranked, but she's number 5, I should say. I think she's going to get the next title shot, Marcel. What do you think?
Yeah, why not? There's not many for Valentina to fight, so
I know.
Yeah, why not?
I know. All right, give me one sec.
Only fight that makes more sense is his third fight with Amanda Nunes. So
let's answer Alex's question. He says, why wouldn't Tumanov get signed? I don't know. I know he's an Ali Abdelaziz guy.
Didn't you saw the tweet from Tumanov that he was tweeting to the UFC, but he tagged the Kawa brothers in it instead of Ali? So I was like,
oh, he's got a new manager, maybe?
No, I'm not sure. But also the thing is with, I did hear from more people that the UFC has a limit on Russian fighters in the UFC. So
yeah, she mentioned that last week, and I'm pretty sure that he is with the Kawas now. I'm pretty sure he switched management, so maybe that's going to be good for him. I don't know. Let me get that question in a sec. John said it's darn shame UFC couldn't book Guram Kazan. Dude, we both feel the same way. The guy's really good, and I still thought Gamrot beat him. But it just showed how good he is that he got the win and he was that competitive. The guy's very, very good. Where's our boy Georgie? I know Georgie loves the guy. So where's Georgie at?
Yeah.
Kokashvili. Alex, okay, well, I mean, this is I guess I'm kind of biased since I work for BJ. No, I'm kidding. Like, BJ's great, he's right up there.
Second.
Still think it's Khabib?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be Khabib just because, man, like, he never lost, right? So.
And the way how he defeated his
so
opponents.
Dominant, man. But BJ's right there, like, just based on the qual. That's what I'm talking about, the GOAT talk, right? So I guess I got kind of caught up a little bit because I do think BJ's fought the better guys. It's just he also has a lot of losses, man. Like, he has almost as many losses as wins now. I kind of feel like I don't want to say he diminished his legacy at all because he didn't. BJ's still considered one of the best, but I think by holding on for so long and keeping getting all those losses in his career, Marcel, I think it did hurt his overall resume a little bit. Like losing to Clay Guida in Brazil when I saw it, that was a terrible fight. Like, he didn't need to have that fight. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, the fight with Dennis Seaver was not a good fight. Like the Yair fight got destroyed. Those fights, they hurt his legacy a little bit. They don't tarnish or diminish it, but I just think they hurt him a little bit, Marcel. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. Although I still think, BJ Penn has been considered, even with losing 3 times to Frankie Edgar, he's still considered a bigger. How do you say that? On the GOAT ladder on lightweight, he's still higher than Edgar, in my opinion. And that's actually crazy. But that's why I always say, man, people are like, no, this can't be the GOAT because he lost to him 2 or 3 times. It's like what you did in the time when you were the best at that moment, and that's why I have BJ at second, and I had him for a long time at number 1. But
yeah, no, me too. But I think times have changed, obviously. MMA locker room best action figures, thanks, man. You didn't step out of the division. BJ fought heavyweight. Yeah, man, I agree with this completely. BJ fought at heavyweight, Machida. He fought at light heavyweight, open weight, middleweight, welterweight, lightweight, featherweight. Like basically almost every weight class. Like he's a legend, man. I've worked for the guy for the last 3 years. He's been great. Guy's a legend. It's just he has a lot of losses. I'm just speaking. This is not even my opinion. I'm just looking at his resume and. His record, I think, is almost 500 now, isn't it? Like, is it 500 in the dot? It might be. But again, those are in different weight classes too. We should look at, again, he fought at welterweight, like Matt Hughes, GSP.
He fought Machida at light heavyweight, I think.
Yeah, right? He fought Machida at light heavyweight. There's a famous picture of him eating burritos to get to the weight class. Did you ever see that?
I bet.
You've seen it? Have you seen it? Eh? Yeah, it's such a great picture. Like, I'll try to find it. Long-wearing BJ. Oh, here it is. I can't believe it got so big. Like, it's crazy. Like, because he needed to weigh, I think, 205 or something? I don't even know if that maybe just 200 because he was in.
It's in Japan, right?
Yeah.
It was K1 event.
Marcel.
Yeah.
There's the famous picture. Yeah. BJ got big there. Big old BJ. Yeah. Marcel, you got a fight to break today?
I have nothing on the shelf.
He's lying. He's definitely got something, guys.
No, I'm serious. I have nothing. Even last week when there was what did I broke after the
I can't remember. You broke a fight
Curtis against Allen.
Oh yes,
I didn't know about that until 1 hour after the podcast.
Oh, that's so funny. Let's see here. Any Sean Strickland news? I haven't heard anything.
No,
he's gonna be cornering Chris Curtis against Brandon Allen. Marcel, come on, you must know who Patty's probably fighting. I'm curious since I'm betting on him. They're going to give him a favorable matchup. You guys want to figure out who's fighting? Let's try to figure it out, Marcel.
He's definitely going to tell me,
Do you have any idea, though? Do you have any clue?
I have no idea, man.
Okay, so let's take a look. Let's just go to, look at the roster here, guys. So I'm going to throw the link in here. Here's the UFC roster. I threw it in the chat. You guys can take a look at that.
He said on Twitter, I think a few weeks ago, he's fighting a guy who was 3-0 or won his last 3 fights in the UFC.
That's what he said, eh? Okay, so we got to look at who could
I went through everybody, and the 2 that made sense, I checked, and they weren't fighting him, so.
Jamie Malarkey is one of them, I think, or is that one of them? He's won a couple fights. But I think that'd be a hard fight, though, honestly. I don't think it'd be someone that good, even, Marcel. I think it's – actually, he's won 2 straight, my bad.
Yeah.
Who is it then? Because
it was
Magomed Mustafayev, is it him?
I don't think it was him. Also, now Jalen Turner, who was 3-0 in his last 3, but that wasn't him. You got Daniel was saying Ziam, but Ziam at that moment was supposed to fight Terrence McKinney, so that's also not true.
Right. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It also wasn't Mark O'Madsen because also not Vince Pichel because they were supposed to fight each other back then.
Mike Davis, maybe? Was it him? Mike Davis?
That's a possibility, man. I didn't check Mike Davis. So.
Steve Garcia is another guy that would be a good fight, I think. Kind of a fair matchup. Just depends what they want to do with him. Do they want to build him slow or throw him to the wolves, I honestly think, Thiago Moises, I think he could win that fight. I really do. If it stays standing. So that's a guy who's in the top 15. Maybe they can do that. I don't know. Mason Jones would be a good fight. They won't do it, though. I don't know, Marcel. Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm looking at the ranking of the roster guys. You guys can look yourselves. If you guys have any thoughts, Ziem's fighting unless they're not going to rebook that fight with McKinney.
That's not rebooked yet. It's not going to happen this year.
Not this year. It sucks. No, he's not fighting. He was supposed to fight this weekend. Tristan,
this
week,
right? He's still on the card. They told him that he is going to get a
fight. Saturday? This Saturday?
Yeah, but really? there are still no opponent.
There's 14 fights. They're going to do 15, I guess. All right. There's no replacement yet.
He's traveling tomorrow to Vegas.
Alex says, if Dawkins knocks out Derek, people need to start having like go. I know you're a big fan of Chris. And Kyle's good too, but Chris is obviously very, 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 very good. I think Chris Dawkins is the man. So, that's an interesting fight with Derek Lewis, though, man. Because Derek, he's a tough guy to bet against. He really is. Like, I swear to God, every time I've picked against Derek, he's knocked my guy out, Marcel. And then when I pick him, he usually knocks or gets knocked out. Yeah. I did pick the Gone fight correctly, but through his career, he's been a very hard guy to. I think everyone feels that way about Derek Lewis. Unless you basically bet on him as an underdog every fight, he's a hit and miss guy. So. Interesting fight. Mike Davis is logical. Yeah, I'm thinking that too. McKinney or Jared Gordon. Yeah, Gordon. Oh yeah, Jared Gordon is another one too, Marcel. I think
Gordon said it wasn't him who was fighting him.
He said that? Okay, so they're gonna give him someone that's beatable, guys. You guys have the roster in front of you too. I mean, like it's just like who is beatable that also has a win too.
I thought Claudio Puelles, but he's fighting Gritzmacher on Saturday, so it wasn't.
Yeah, I thought Gritzmacher, and then he's fighting obviously Claudio, so that's not happening. Rodrigo Vargas is another guy they could match him up with. He's not very good, and he just won his last fight. So, even Joe Selecki, I know he lost, but they could do that fight too. And I think Patty could win that. Marcel. Just depends what they want to do. Like, do they want to rush the guy up to the top 15 or not? I'm not sure. It depends what they want to do. But it's a damn shame that McKinney and Ziem got canceled. I wanted to see that fight. So freaking bad, man. That was a good fight. If Kubrat Pulev took his next fight in UFC, would you want to match him up against? He doesn't have a ground game, does he? Like, I don't think. Obviously, a big. You know who he is, eh, Marcel?
He fought Mir, right?
I'm pretty sure this is the dude that kissed that reporter. Remember that? Like he grabbed her. Yeah, this is the guy. It's crazy they gave a guy who just lost to Anthony Joshua to Frank Mir. How crazy is that? Eh? Like the matchmaking for Triller is a little bit questionable. I'd say just a little bit. Yeah, I know it doesn't limit him, but maybe he's wrong with the 3-0 thing. Here's a good question. I want to ask you this actually. So I did message you today, and I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" So talk to us.
Inactivity, guys, and she isn't coming back anytime soon, is what I've heard. But it's nothing. It's nothing related with USADA or whatever, but just a personal thing. So yeah. All
right, cool. All right. Any other questions, guys? We'll be here for a few more minutes. Go to BJ and see what kind of news it was today. It was kind of like a quiet weekend, obviously, Are you hearing anything about Carla and Joanna? Because it sure seems like they're going to do that fight again, Marcel. They're going to get.
I hate that so much, dude. You have no idea how much I hate.
I know. I want to ask about this. What do you think, man? What do you think's going to happen?
It's just so stupid, They just hope Carla loses. That's all. They just hope Carla loses so that they don't have to give her a title shot. It's so bad, because if Yan Shunan would have beat Carla the way Carla beat her, she would have got a title shot. You know what I mean?
I do. Let's see here. Yeah. What else we got here? Tyron Woodley said he's going to fight in MMA again next year. I don't know what promotion he's going to fight for, but he says he's going to fight 4 times next year.
If he's smart, he's going to PFL.
I think that's why he probably said 4 times, right? He also said he wants to fight 4 different sports: boxing, Triller Triad, and Muay Thai. I guess I don't know. I mean, boxing, I guess. So MMA. So those are 3 of the 4. And then if he goes to PFL, he got 4 fights in, right? So. If he's smart, he goes to PFL and tries to win $1 million, right?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
He might not. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think he wins it though. I think Ray Cooper just knocks him out probably if they fight. But he'll have a path to win it. Marcel, and he's got the most experience of anyone in the tournament probably. So if he gets signed, I think it's smart that Tyron's being a free agent. I think he's actually being smart with his career, and I think that he's kind of showing that once you leave the UFC in those contracts with the UFC, Marcel. There's money out there. There is money out there, Marcel. You might not be doing MMA necessarily, but there's money out there for guys that once they leave the UFC and those ironclad contracts. And you know, Marcel, just like I do. Marcel, does the UFC let these guys out of their contracts? No. Once you're locked in, you can't get out basically. And actually, it was even worse in Bellator under Bjorn Rebney. He had like these really ironclad contracts. Remember, I think Eddie Alvarez sued him at one point. Remember, Marcel, to get a free agency, and Bjorn Rebney was a big scumbag. Eh? Like, although I did like the format, the tournament format, the guy was a big scumbag, a big liar.
You remember the UFC putting up a Bjorn Rebney tweet a year or two ago on the podcast? What the hell?
That was so good. That was so good. Tyron Wade being Ray Cooper. I agree, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, he goes there, Ray Cooper's going to probably knock him out. You know, Ray Cooper's amazing. Oh, sorry, I missed this comment. Where do you think Kayla will sign? PFL.
Yeah,
PFL, because why would she leave?
I think she only will
guys,
go promote with somebody, but no.
If I could tell you, Marcel, right now, that you could fight for $1 million, and you just have to beat 3 fighters who do not train full-time, that are probably training part-time in the evenings after they have a full-time job, would you take that offer, Marcel?
For sure, we wouldn't. You know, that's like saying like you can go work for 5 hours, you know, and you earn $10,000. I just say something, or you can work for 2 minutes and you can earn $2 million. You know, what are you going to do?
She'll go back and win again, but the problem is she's just you know, I don't blame her. I think it's the right move, but how could you say she's the best in the world when she's not fighting the best comp? You can't. You know, so it eliminates her. She's eliminating herself, but it's kind of worth it, I think, when you're getting that much money. Also, I just realized that she's taking care of her niece now because I think it's her sister, gave out custody of her daughter. So now she's got basically it's her niece, but it's her daughter basically now that she has to take care of. Or so it's crazy, you know. So
Adam, something did you ever saw that Impractical Jokers part with Kayla Harris? Did you ever saw that?
No, she's in it. She's on the show.
No, did you never saw that? I'm gonna send you the clip. I'm gonna send you the clip after the podcast. It's amazing.
She was on the show.
Yeah, Impractical Jokers. The punishment for one of the guys.
Oh, I see it now. I'm gonna watch it. I didn't know she was on it. This is before.
Check it out for sure.
PFL. Okay, I'll take a look at it. I don't watch the show that much. Sometimes though, it's kind of funny. All right,
it's awesome. That one is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So GDR home, yeah. And also, I thought that Home won that first fight. I'll be honest. I know Marcel's going to be pissed.
I disagree with you, dude.
Well, maybe tell your girl to stop punching after the bell because she should have had 2 points taken away.
That sucked, you know. But
she should have had 2 points taken away. She punched her after the bell in 2 different rounds, man. You saw the fight too. By the way, that was one of the worst UFC cards of all time. Remember, Dana was he only gave out 1 bonus, I think, that night to Ronaldo Souza, right?
Yeah, I know. Ayacuenta was pissed after that event that Dana said something.
So bad. It was such a bad card. Why I got upset. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. Let's see here. See, Kayla will not fight immediate future. Yeah. They're training partners, obviously, at ATT. It'd be a great fight. I don't think they're going to fight either, Marcel. It's all talk. I don't think they're going to fight each other. They train with each other all the time. Marcel, the GOAT. You got the gorilla and the prey symbol. That's awesome. I'll watch the Kayla Harrison thing after, though. Let's see what other news we'll get. Probably get out here a couple minutes early, though, because I don't think there's anything else I really wanted to mention as far as, like, news and stuff goes. Let's see here. Oh, Khabib's bringing the Eagle FC promotion to the States. You see that?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know what to think, you know. I have to see what happens, you know, with the guys fighting that with visa issues and that kind of stuff. So I don't know, you know.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I mean, I think I'm pretty much good, Marcel. Like, there's not a ton more I want to talk about. We'll talk about the fight tomorrow a little bit. Horiguchi Pettis. There's the Bellator card this week. We'll break it down a little bit tomorrow after the UFC breakdown. But I mean, there's not much else I want to talk about. I think we're good for today, Marcel. So let's just plug our stuff and we'll get out of here.
Big Marcel24, Twitter, Instagram, MMADNA.nl, Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at @MMADamMartin podcast. MMAOddsBreaker.com, sorry, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all those places. So the plan right now is to continue doing the podcast with Marcel, 4 p.m. Eastern for the next couple of weeks. It's probably going to change after that, though, because like I said earlier, I'm starting a new job very soon. That's 9 to 5. So obviously I won't be done until 5. So I'm hoping we can do it at 5 o'clock going forward. But
working 9 to 5.
Yeah, I know. I like 8 to 4 a little better. I gotta be honest with you. But 9 to 5 is still good too. I just like getting done earlier. You know what I mean? Back in the day when I was a teenager, I worked at Home Depot. I used to work 6 to 3. That was great, Marcel. I know waking up at 5 o'clock sucked, but you're done at 3 o'clock. It was like your day was just starting. So that was pretty good. Anyways, I'm happy with the job. I'm really happy. So like I said, on Twitter today. I got this new job with this website Bookies, and I talked about this a little bit. So it does impact my work in MMA. It does, unfortunately. And I'll say unfortunately, just because I want to do MMA full time for the rest of my life, and I could have, but here's the thing, guys. It's just life changes when you have like a child, right? It's not just about you anymore. So selfishly, I was doing just fine, and I could have just kept continuing to do what I was doing. But knowing I have a daughter now, Marcel, and also a fiance, like getting a big bump in pay and getting benefits and health benefits and stuff like that, that stuff is really important to me now, Marcel.
Of course.
And unfortunately, it's somewhat even more important than what I love the most in the world, which is MMA. So the only thing that is more important to me is my family. You know what I mean? That's the only thing, Marcel, really. So I have to leave DJ Penn, and I talked about that a little bit. It sucks because I loved working for the website, but I have to do it. I'm still sticking in MMA, guys. I'm still doing the podcast, Marcel. I was lucky enough to get to be able to do that. Still going to write about MMA a little bit, not as much. For Elite Fantasy, I'm doing my article. And then for Odds Breaker, I'm doing the opening odds. And then for my MMA News, I'll do a little bit. That's about it. But I'll still do the podcast. So can't wait to do it. It's just, guys, like, it really was a no-brainer for me, honestly. That's the honest truth. Like it was just such a big leap that I had to do it. So I'm going to miss everyone at BJ Penn. Love the website, but this is by far, the right thing in my career, in my life right now, Marcel. So I'm really excited, guys, to start this new gig. And I just think it's the best thing for my daughter, Marcel, and that's the most important thing for me. So, like I said, the podcast hasn't changed. We're going to still do it. I made sure when I was talking to him, I'm like, I want to do this podcast. This is important to me. I need to keep doing this. So still doing MMA, guys. It's just not 24/7 anymore. And I'll be honest, Marcel, it's going to be nice to have Sunday off because I've been working Sunday for the last 2.5 years, plus Monday to Friday. And it's not easy, especially with the kid. Now I'm going to have a little bit more time to spend with her, which is going to be great. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say, guys. And like I said, I appreciate everyone, man. All you guys that are here all the time, it's awesome. So tomorrow's going to be 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll break down UFC Vegas 44, and we'll be back next week. Standard time. Then after that, it might have to be a slightly different time. But anyways, guys, appreciate you joining us today. We'll talk to you soon. Back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Peace.